all the days of my life. That text really says that He is going to provide for all of my needs. Too often I forget that. Too often I look at how life affects me. Too often we say, I don't need God. Too often I say, I don't need His mercy. Too often I don't need His goodness. And so too often, not only do we rebel against His law, or rebel against His love, we rebel against His goodness, of wanting to save us. And so that leads us to also rebelling against His grace. Too often I have run into people who say, I don't have to go to church. Why do you go to church on vacation? Take a vacation from church. Take a vacation for breathing, yeah. The thing is that they don't understand that a relationship with God isn't something you take a vacation from. And so when we're looking at this, we understand this. We don't look at the idea of, I can take a break from following God today. Well, I've had people who say, I don't have to go to church because I'm really a good person. I pay my tithe. I pay my taxes. I don't kick my dog. I go to work. I'm a good worker. And all that focus is on who? On themselves. But what we've been looking at is that there is nothing good in and of ourselves, is there? We are all sinners. We're all in need of a Savior. By the way, it's still talking about the Ten Commandments, going back to the Ten Commandments, is that Ten Commandments doesn't save us. The Ten Commandments doesn't keep us saved. The Ten Commandments shows us that we are sinners in need of a Savior. That's what the Ten Commandments is for. Jesus in Luke chapter 19 talks about the rebellion that was evidenced against Him when He did ministry here on earth. He told a parable of a king whose people didn't want him to be king. And he was made and appointed king anyways, and he came in and he said, I'm going to be gone for a while. And he gave 10 coins to one of his servants, and 10 coins to one servant, 5 coins to another, and 1 to another. And then he was gone. When he came back, he said, how did you do? And the one who had 10 said, I got 10 more. So I'm going to put you in charge over 10 cities. The one who had 5 had 5 more, so they're going to give you 5 cities. And the one who had 1 said, I was afraid of you, and so I hid my coin so that I wouldn't lose the little bit that you gave me. He said, you unfaithful servant, and he took that coin and gave it to another. But in that parable, he's talking about the subjects of that kingdom. In Luke 19 and verse 14, he says, but his subjects hated him, talking about the king. He hated him and sent a delegation after him, says, we don't want this man to be our king. Essentially, the parable was about himself being set up as a king and how his subjects, you and me, respond to him. Talk about the rebellion against him. The attitude of rejecting Jesus led to the cross. The idea that the crowds cheered him when he first came into